I'd like to welcome everyone to the next episode of the CUEITUP DJ podcast.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Stand by and spin. About 15 seconds. Jordan, you gotta be open. Stand by and 12. 3, 2, 1. Clear.
Like our title is Cue It Up. We're queuing it up for ourselves, but also for the venue, for the photographer, for the videographer, anybody that's involved with the event. We're queuing everything up. Everybody comes back to us for the queue up.
Okay, guys, ready? Bye. We are ready.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of the CUEITUP DJ podcast. And look who we have in the building tonight.
Roll for report. Ready? Cars in town. Take cars in town.
DJ Tips and Tricks, right? Cool. So got that. Do the tips and tricks. Come out. Screen share.
15. Okay. Ready, slate, and lose tone.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
No, didn't hear the introduction at all. That's why I was going like that. 9 seconds. William Block 2.
Take luck. Ready? Full screen graphic and fade up.
Where we all come together as DJs. No matter what skill level you're at, we come here to connect, learn, and grow. And from pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community.
Great show.
So with that said, let's cue it up again and start the show. Before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. Everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know?
Right.
But it's DJing's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm DJ Mikie Mike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the HITMAN DDub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CUEITUP DJ podcast with me, the HITMAN DDub, and my friends, DJ Mikie Mike and Buddy from the DJ Roundtable.
Hello, everybody. What's happening, bud?
What's going on, guys? Going on? Hopefully you're enjoying yourself out there. But really quickly, before we do anything, give this man a thumbs up for putting together these shows. You know, that's the one thing you always can do. Help the show. Give Mike and give Dwayne. It's their show. Give them a thumbs up. You like to see people like, maybe like me or other people on here. Make sure you show it. Give it the thumbs up.
Yep. No, I appreciate it. So our podcast is a place where DJs of all skill levels come to connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community. So last week we talked about anxiety. And the 3 takeaways I want to talk about from last week's show is to get over your anxiety. 1, it's real. You're going to have some kind of feeling no matter what. But the one way you can get over it is to prepare. Make sure you plan. Make sure you have not only a backup plan, but a backup to the backup, a backup to the backup. The more you plan, the better off you'll be. Always manage expectations from your clients. So make sure you meet with your clients and make sure I know some people give numbers on how many times they meet with their clients, but it really doesn't matter. Treat each client on a base-to-base basis and not do the same thing for each client. Because some clients, you can meet with them once or twice and you'll be good. Other clients, you might need to put more effort into it. But the main thing is to make sure everybody's expectation is all on the same level. And then the last one, turn your nerves into fuel, because if you're nervous and uptight, that will show to your guests, and that could affect your performance. And a lot of time, it's more so mental. It's a mental thing that's going on inside of our head. It could be from overthinking or thinking when we mess up that everybody's being critical of us. And a lot of times, you'll find that your guests or your client will come up and tell you how great of a job you was, knowing that you may have train wrecked a transition or something. But yeah, just relax and don't overthink it, and then everything will hopefully work out. And if something does happen, just deal with it. And just remember, there are certain things that that's out of your control, so don't stress over it. So what's done is done. Just make sure you handle it and then be ready to move on. But tonight's topic is all about things DJs don't think about when they go into trying to do DJing as a full-time operation. And again, I'm coming from being a full-time employee, and I just retired. So these are some of the things I didn't think about, because it's been a year that I didn't think about when I retired and stopped working and deciding I want to do this full-time. And so these are the things I want to talk about, talking points. And again, if you're here, and make sure you leave a comment in the chat, because this is a two-way street. We're not just here talking to you all. We'd like to get feedback from you all. And also, if you've seen the replay of this show, leave a comment in the comment section so we can continue. But these are the talking points I want to talk about tonight. Healthcare, taxes. Taxes is coming up. And for the first time, I actually traveled. It wasn't far, but it was far enough where I had to stay overnight. So how do you all handle travel, fuel, hotel stays, and also marketing?
There he is.
I don't know. It's between AT&T and Zoom. I'm so ready to smack one of them. This don't make no sense whatsoever. I don't have any kind of.
I think it's AT&T because Zoom is pretty stable. We were here.
Yeah,
we were good.
Yeah, because that don't make any sense. Because my stuff doesn't act up when I'm on the round table. So, and it doesn't really, OBS doesn't act up until between 9 and 11 o'clock. So something's going on. I updated and everything, but this is really irking me to no end.
Yeah.
But the only good thing about it is that when it does cut off, I notice when I listen to it back on YouTube, it's not a long delay. It's almost like it's a hiccup, so it doesn't mess that up. That's the only good thing about it. But good thing I didn't say anything important. But basically,
the winning lottery numbers for Mega Millions.
Oh, I forgot.
You're ready to get those.
Huh? Yeah, I forgot all about that because it's supposed to be super high.
965 million.
Yeah, you're supposed to give it out, you know?
Yeah.
How come those people have lost that number? Sorry, you know?
Buddy, I
Guys
like your
weren't paying
hair,
attention.
bud. I like your hair, man.
Who?
You.
Me? I gotta get a
Yeah.
haircut. My hair's
I
too
just
long.
got mine cut. Well, I didn't. I just trimmed
got
it
them
a
all
little
cut.
bit. I gotta get my
I
shaver
gotta
out
get,
tomorrow.
I gotta get my hair cut. I usually keep it short. I just,
I was gonna say
busy.
it's long for you.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I
is-
need to go get one, but I'm trying to let mine grow out because I'm starting to get bald spots. So
Oh, hey, wait, come on.
I'm starting,
Well,
my
the
back of my
camera
head started to look like
the camera
John
always
Cena.
looks like the camera always looks here and here looks like it's bald a lot of times,
Mhm.
but there's hair.
Oh no,
I have hair. It's
hair.
thinner, but there's hair. I don't know. Technology, I stopped trying to figure it out a lot of times.
Yeah.
But going back to your topics and going through everything, you know, healthcare, taxes, marketing, software, subscriptions, gear replacement upgrades, dead month survival budgeting. Those are all very important things when you start your business. So, give you guys a little background. You know, in 2008, I left the company I worked for. I worked many years in management and in retail management, and the company I worked for was purchased by another company, and that new company came in and said, "Hey, you know what? As a manager, you make too much money, so we don't need you. Go find another job." And at the time, I had the business, and it was a decision to keep growing the business or stay stagnant in the business. And you come to that crossroad a lot of times. And I know a lot of guys go, "Oh, this is my side hustle. This is my side hustle." If it's your side hustle, are you really paying attention to it? And this is the decision you have to make. Are you a business owner or are you an employee? If you're an employee, is my side hustle. I just go out and get a couple $100. It's beer money. I don't care. Are you really taking care of the customers and clients? Are you really doing that? Or are you trying to build something that you can live on later on? Like Dwayne was building something because he saw his retirement coming up and said, "Hey, I want to transition from my job now to my next career." I know a few people have done that. One of my really good friends, he did that. He worked for 28 years, and he knew he wanted to retire after 28 years. He retired and transitioned into DJing full time. So it's those things like that. You have to decide where you want to go, what you want to do. And it's very important because the fact that if you don't make that decision, you put yourself in a limbo and you don't do things. Well,
Right.
We're
So
stopped.
I did, because, and what's messed up, it says, your internet connection is unstable. I'm like,
That's what I was getting from OBS too.
but that's saying that on Zoom.
Oh,
And-
he's coming back.
The internet was close to $300 a month. I might
Yep.
pass it. I'm getting off. When I had
Hold on. We got
there we
got
go.
Dwayne
All
coming
right,
back.
we're
Hopefully.
back.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's see here. Yeah, Kevin, unfortunately, Dwayne's having a little internet problems. You can blame the Aurora Borealis or you can Northern Lights because of the solar storm. It's affecting a lot of people's internet
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yep. So, oh, well, I see Troll is in the house, so we can officially
What's up,
start
DJ
our show.
Troll?
Control.
Yeah, I got, because every time I see the troll, I should, no, I'm gonna save that for later. So when we talking, I'll put it up on the screen because I had a message from someone to give to him.
Wasn't there
So I
some-
told him I'd deliver it. So I'll try to get it set up when I get free time if Zoom don't stop. But yeah,
But
you were saying that you
Yeah,
had just left your job.
Yeah, going back to it, I just lost my job, and it's one of the things again, like for you have to decide what you want to do. I'm again lucky because the fact that being a manager, I'm used to budgets, used to budgeting, used to procuring, used to doing P&Ls, doing a lot of things you do in business. If you have a business, you're doing these things. If you're not doing those things, you don't know where your numbers are at, then you're not in business. You don't have a business. If you're not running your numbers run your business. And here's the thing I learned from another podcast. Words talk, numbers scream, which is very true. If your numbers are screaming that you're not making profit, you don't have a business. You have a charity. And that's that's the way it is. There's no ins and buts about it. Now, if you're in a downtime right now that you don't have money coming in, that's totally different. You have to just look at what's feasible, what's right, what's wrong. That's a whole marketing area right there. When you go into starting your business, you
There, my bad. I forgot to put it in studio mode when I was up there multitasking.
It's okay.
I can't do it like Buddy. I can't sneak and be on start to spin and do our show because see I tell myself.
There we are.
It's fun, but you need to really look at what you want to do. Once you kind of get the basics, and again, you don't have to get incorporated right away. You can incorporate down the road. But when you start going down your business, your numbers run your business. Are you profitable? Are you actually making money? And this is one of the things like Brian S. Red, BSR, has said multiple times. Know your cost. Know how much stuff is, what you're paying for. Internet, cell phone, vehicle. There's so much with vehicles, not even funny. That's a whole entire category right there. We can go over for hours on vehicle alone. Especially you have your personal vehicle and then insurance with that. There's a whole slew of stuff we can get into with that.
Yep.
It's a lot to juggle, and it's not a quick run. It's a marathon. It takes time. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make screw ups. This is when you start asking for help, either via you get a hold of an accountant or you have someone who knows accounting. You start using software to help you. I know Dwayne uses a couple of different softwares. I know Sean uses a couple of softwares. I'm sure DJ Troll uses some software that you actually, for customers. You have to figure out how you're going to do things. One of the first things I would recommend, because again, you want to keep the company money separate from your personal money. And a lot of DJs don't do this, which I feel is wrong. Set up your own separate checking account. It's a DBA in your name. A DBA means doing business as. So like we have a checking account separate for the business. It has its own checks, its own debit card, and everything. Now, some state to state may vary a little bit what you need to do. Some states you need a register or get a license. You may have to pay a tax or something like that. But that's something that you have to look at and do some research. But having that money separate, especially for tax time, makes your life much easier because money's fungible and you don't want all one account because that money is paying groceries or paying this or paying that. It's not paying the business's bills. The business should pay for its own bills. And when it pays its own bills, music services you should pay for, insurances you should pay for, any kind of equipment that you purchase you should pay for that. If you have a credit card, even a credit card in your own name, and yet you use for the business, like you get a Sweetwater credit card or Guitar Center or whatever, you're buying stuff on there. You're not buying groceries on that. You're not buying, taking the dog to the vet or whatever. You're buying gear for that. All that stuff right there should come out of the business's pay to pay that. So even you're making payments on something, all that money should be coming out of there. And it takes a little bit of time because you need to track 2 sets of books, because you have your regular household books and then you have your business books, and you have to account for everything. And the reason why, if you ever get audited, if you ever get yourself in a situation that the government wants to look at stuff, they're going to want to see records for everything. And it's better off that you have everything documented, T's crossed, I's dotted, than if you run into a situation and they, they will fine you. You owe them money, especially you underreported money or something. You made a mistake. So keeping that separate, it's more work, but it's going to help you in the long run. You as a hobby. And that's the thing you got to look at. Are you a hobbyist or are you a business? These are all things you have to, again, look through and kind of maneuver through. And you really want to talk to a tax preparer, especially about tax stuff, because how you do business tax is different than personal tax, and how you set things up. There's again, like, we're a lot there to go through. But the first thing I would say to do, especially you're going to go off on your own, if you haven't done so already, which you should have done in the beginning, is make sure you get a separate checking account and have that money, whatever you have, Square or whatever you're getting payment on, go into that account. You write checks out of that account to pay for your needs. You pay your, again, if you're paying your internet, your cell phone, any kind of advertisement, the knot, wedding wire, anything as such should be coming out of that account. If you're paying for whatever service you go for pool, again, promo only for me comes out of there. Extendamix comes out of there. My pools come out of there. And the reason why is because, again, that is the money the business is paying for to support itself and make itself self-sustained.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking about earlier today. Because I was like, that's the one thing I should have did was make a separate account. Because one, again, for taxes, it's easier to go and see exactly what you spent. But then also, it seems, but you were saying with a business. So do you have to have a LLC or the second one in order to get like a business account, or?
No, you're doing business as. So you're a DBA.
Okay.
So it's my name, my legal name,
Mm-hmm.
and my wife's legal name, Tracy, our last name, and then it's DBA, TBM Productions.
Okay.
So it's our name, but the thing is that the bank also recognizes that TBM Productions is our business. And
Okay.
we can show that as when you file your taxes as a sole proprietor, you file that with there saying that this is my business I have, and this is, again, the money I do. So again, that's why I said that if you don't do taxes, like Tracy, when she went to college, she really originally went in for accounting. That was her first, go at college. Eventually she got her degree in business management when she went back to college. So she had accounting background, and she understands that realm a little bit. She's enough to be dangerous. She's not a full-fledged accountant, but the thing is that she understands that stuff. Plus, doing research and making sure we're doing everything by the book. It's one of the things that if you make mistakes, yes, it can happen. Happens to all of us. We all make mistakes. But the thing is, if you can mitigate that as much as possible, if something does come up, it does protect you. But having a separate checking account, that would be the first thing I would recommend to anyone for a business, is have that money separate. And that way you know exactly what's coming into the business and you know exactly what's going out. Because a lot of people, I ask a lot of people, you should know what your business is paying. They can't tell me how much it costs for them to walk out the door. I can tell you how much it costs me to walk out my door right now. That's my advertisement. That's my, well, it was my van pay. My van's paid off, so it's a little bit lower now, but that's insurance, that's music, that's internet, that's my cell phone. All that stuff adds up, and that's all money has to go from somewhere. So if you're not making enough money to cover that, then you're negative. And if you're negative, you're not in a business. You're either a hobbyist or you're a charity. And that's basically the two choices you have. But a lot of DJs, you know, again, they are very inexpensive. And a lot of that is because the fact that they don't know their costs. They're not running their costs. They're not analyzing it and saying, for me to walk out my door is $300. If I'm charging $200, I'm losing $100 every time I walk out my door.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is that you have, it doesn't matter if you DJ at a bar, doesn't matter if you DJ dog parties, doesn't matter if you DJ at the local Dairy Queen, it costs you money to be there. Time, fuel, music, equipment wear and tear. You can go down the whole entire list of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when you need to know what it costs for you to go out that door. And if you don't, you must reevaluate, because like before, you could be throwing away a lot of money and not making money when you actually sit down and look at it and go, oh wow, I'm losing money. I'm actually paying money out of my pocket for my business, and my business is actually costing me money. That beer money I thought I was getting, that $300 I was getting for a backyard party, it's not actually, it's costing me $500 to walk out the door. And to really quickly take your monthly bills, divide by 12 months, divide it by the average amount of gigs you're gonna have for a year. So if you have 20 gigs, that kind of gives you a ballpark idea. It's not exact, but it kind of gives you an idea what you're looking at. The more you look at your numbers, the more you control your numbers, the more you get that separated and you understand what's in and out, the more you can drill that down to the proper number. But if you have not done it, it's like drinking from a fire hose. You have all this information coming in and you are not getting a good drink. You're just getting drowned. So you need to do a couple of things and start shrinking that fire hose down to a straw. Because a straw you can manage and take water out of it. A fire hose at full blast is going to drown you. And that's the one thing you need to stop that. And to do that is you need to know your cost. That is the very first thing. You can't do insurance. You can't do healthcare. You can't do your taxes, marketing, all that stuff right there. It's all dependent upon your income, your money coming in. And you need to know that is a big first item. And I know you gave some bullet points and stuff like that. And it's one of the things you have to look at before you look at everything else. And everything else is very valid and very important. But if you don't know what it costs for you to go out the door, it doesn't matter what your insurance costs, your health care, your taxes, none of that, because nothing else is correct. Because you have no base to start anything on. Remember, it's the fire hose. And every drop of water hitting you, it's just drowning you because you can't answer it. You can't handle all that amount. So again, you want to get that from a fire hose, that 2.5-inch line nozzle, that's not fogging, it's actually full on stream, down to a normal straw. And again, to get that, you got to do some stuff first to get down there and know that number.
So what about you talking about profits and all that? What kind of things can you write off? Because I know my tax person allows me like to write off my the BPM Supreme subscription. That he asked me about my mileage because I use my vehicle as a company vehicle. What else software, that kind of stuff. Is there?
There's when you do your taxes, there's different brackets for different things. And I can't remember them all. Tracy always tells me in January, I will go through the receipts and I will have my desk here, which I don't have a lot of room here because I have my multiple monitors and I have all my equipment and keyboard and stuff. I don't have a lot of room here. So I could probably put like 3 or 4 piles. I'll have 2 other tables here next to me with piles of stuff. And you have professional services. Like your tax preparation goes underneath professional services. Software, that can go underneath office supplies or professional services. You have one for vehicle, which is your vehicle maintenance, fuel, payments, vehicle insurance. That goes in that column. You have a column also for, for meals and travel. So that's another one. So if you're forced to buy yourself a meal because you had to travel, that right there, but you have to watch it and balance it because every time you go to Starbucks or McDonald's, you buy yourself a cup of coffee, doesn't mean it's a business expense. And that's the thing people trip themselves up on. Oh, it's for the business. I'm going to take it out. Oh, it's for the business. I'm going to take it out. No, it doesn't work that way. And it's not like it's a free item. When you write something down on your taxes, it's limiting the amount of tax you have to pay. And you're not getting a dollar for dollar or a penny for penny rebate. It just limits your exposure to the taxes, how much you have to pay to the federal government. Because it's saying, hey, I made $100, but it cost me $40 to make that $100 because my fuel, my BPM Supreme or whatever pool you're using, I have buy this connector and I bought the other stuff. Well, I also bought myself coffee and I bought myself McDonald's and, I also bought, I stopped at the gas station and got a Gatorade. All that stuff, yeah, you can claim it. But then it's like, well, wait a second here. You didn't make, it didn't cost you $40. It cost you more than that. And why you keep claiming all this stuff for it? So that's the thing you have to talk to your professional and say, what can you claim? If something big, like, hey, you know what? I bought coffee for a client. I would have no problem with that. If I'm going to a gig and I buy myself something to eat, it's one of the things that I would have bought it anyways. For me personally, I'm like, okay, fine, great. I would have bought it anyways. I'm not looking at it as a business expense. I'm looking at it as me eating whatever.
That's just a personal thing. But
if I'm buying lunch for an employee, if I'm buying lunch for a client, if I'm meeting a client at Starbucks or Panera, I buy them something. That's different. And again, you have to look at how much you're spending on that. How many times you're buying coffee, how many times you're doing it. A lot of times we'll offer and we'll see what the customer wants to do. Are you guys wanting a cup of coffee? And they, oh yeah, we're going to get a cup of coffee. We'll ask, oh, hey, do you want, we'll cover it for you. No. I'll take care of it. All right. I'm not going to twist someone's arm, but it's stuff like that can really trip you up. So you have to be careful. And the other thing is that you need to have receipts for everything. You can't say, hey, this right here, this receipt right here from McDonald's. Oh, I went to a gig. Here's a receipt. No, you got to detail what's on it. Went to wedding at such venue on such a date. Here's a couple's names. You need to be detail oriented in that. Just like, Dwayne, do you have a logbook for your vehicle?
No, no, I'm not going to even. Not the one I should have.
You should have a logbook, and in the logbook, it's date, reason, start mileage, end mileage. Was it business? Yes or no? Now, for my vehicle, for my van, it's business only vehicle. Only time I don't, it's like non-business stuff is like if I need to move it out of my driveway. But if I'm getting fuel, going to storage, moving it, getting it washed, going to a venue, those are all mileage. And I still write it down though. I still write everything down, and I have my log from beginning of the year to the end of the year, every mile we put into the vehicle. It's, here's the date. It's November, 11th. All right, November 11th, wedding. Start mileage, 1,930 miles. End mileage, at the end of the day, going there, coming back. End mileage, 2,004 miles. All that mileage I put on is for that wedding. All right, I want to get fuel, or I want to get, that receipt for the fuel from the gas station. That fuel is then in the log too. I got fuel, went to gas station, got fuel. Then to put down how many gallons it is because it's on the receipt, but it shows the receipt, it's the same date as is in the log. My start mileage, end mileage. My start mileage was 2,004 miles. My end mileage was 2,006 miles. So I drove to the gas station, got filled up with diesel, drove back. Now, if I went inside and bought myself, and I'm going to say to drive some of you guys crazy, a bottle of pop, because that's what we call it here in Chicago, called soda.
Pop. I always say pop, bud.
I drive you soda guys crazy. It's one of the things that when you do, I'm doing that, I'm not putting that down and logging that down because again, it's something I would buy anyways. Doesn't matter what vehicle goes in. Hey, I'm thirsty. I'm just going to go buy it. And that's the thing is that you have to also understand what is acceptable, what's not. You have to kind of look at it as did I really need to buy that for the business or not? Now, when you buy office supplies, paper, pens, staples, paper clips, printer ink, anything you use for the business, that goes underneath your office supplies. I need to replace equipment. Okay, fine, great. I need to buy a new printer. Printer's $500. Then you start getting into depreciation. Do I want to take a one lump sum or do I want to take it over 5 years? A bigger purchase, you take over 5 years. Smaller purchase, like, okay, I need to buy ink, $25. Okay, fine, great. That's a one-time purchase, but it's an office supply. All that little stuff like that, it adds up very quickly. But you need to make sure that you're keeping track of everything. Anything you buy for the business, you need to make sure you keep receipts for everything and keep details. The other thing also that Tracy does, and I will tell you this is a trick, a lot of times you get the little receipts from the store and it's on thermal paper. 2 things destroy thermal paper. Alcohol. Actually, 3 things. Alcohol, heat, so sunlight, be next to an air vent right now, winter with heaters on, or time. They deteriorate. So what we do is we come in here. The printer is in the office right here. It's right next to me. It's a Brothers printer. It has a flatbed on top, scanner. Put the receipt down, print, scan it, and we write down any information. Okay, the fuel's there, fine, great. But hey, you know what? I had to buy this. I got this little receipt. Went to Office Depot, Office Max, Office whatever. Went to Staples, Walmart, whatever it is. Here's my receipt for this. Circled it on the receipt. This is the stuff we bought for the business. Wrote down, especially a lot of times they have generic codes. Wrote down, it's paper for the printer used for business. So it's detail oriented as much as possible. Because again, something happens, you want to show proof, this is what you need to do. You need to have as much documentation as possible. I learned a long time ago, the best way of doing things is document. You document as much as possible because if there's a question, you can remember what you bought on that day. 6 months ago, you went to a store. You bought stuff. Why did you buy this? Well, what is it? It's this little thumb drive. You bought this. What did you buy this thumb drive for? Oh, I buy thumb drives all the time. Well, what did you buy this one for?
Yeah.
Without documentation, even off of Amazon, like, you print out the receipt from Amazon. I do that all the time, and I'll notate what's on there. If we don't know in the description what it is, why did I buy that? What do I use those for? I can articulate anything that we purchase within reason because, again, we document, we know we were buying stuff for. But it all goes back to knowing we had the money in the account to cover said item. I'm sure people are screaming in the chat.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to even explore even more on that too. But good friend of mine, he's in his own business, and he was renting an office space and everything, so he could actually claim that on his taxes. Beautiful, because he had his office in his house, and when you have your office in your house, okay, you're paying your electric bill, you're paying this, you're paying that, but only a percentage of that you can claim towards your business. So he rented an office, everything was included: heat, electricity, water, everything. So that was a complete write-off. And then he had to get the internet. He got a little TV. And that was basically for himself, so he could keep some noise in the air. So all that was a write-off. But the landlord started raising the rent higher and higher and higher and higher. And he said, this is ridiculous. So he talked to his accountant, and his accountant said, why don't you just build a little office inside your house and pay yourself rent? So that's what he does. He pays himself rent, but
So
everything
there
at
is
office.
there's requirements for it in the tax code if you want to claim a room in your house office.
Yeah.
It's so much percentage square footage of the house, and there's a bunch of stipulations there that you have to follow.
Oh yeah.
This is why partnering with an accountant that will walk you through that and say, hey, you need to make a 10 by 10 room for your house to make as an office. So you need to build like in your basement, or you need to turn this bedroom here, it's a spare bedroom, into an office. What's the square footage of the bedroom? It needs to be purely for the office.
Yes.
So you can't sit there and store a treadmill in there.
No,
like
no,
I have,
exactly.
or
Well,
stuff like that.
what it came out to be is, okay, he's paying himself rent for his office in his home, but now he's able to claim everything that he's paying for, like he did for his office when he rented. But his wife and himself aren't jacking the rent up every 6, 7 months. It was a monthly lease that he had on his office space, and it was just, he said it just got too much. But my grandmother and grandfather were in the bar business for, oh Jesus, my grandfather passed away in 82, so he was in it for 23, 24 years. My grandmother, she had a business for close to 50 years. And she said, can't show profit every month. You have to have some losses throughout the years. Like if you keep showing profit every single month for 12 months straight, then the government's going to say, well, hey, how come you're showing profit, but this month the profits are appearing, now the profit's only like $100. You're still running the green. She said, so her accountant told her at least 8 months out of the year, show the green. 4 months, you're in red, because you're going to have to buy supplies. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. So those months, you are going to run in the red. Same thing, okay, with a bar business, you have to have a liquor license. You have to have this. With a DJ, we have no license. As a contractor, you have to have a license. You have to pass special tests to be a licensed electrician, licensed plumber, licensed roofer. I mean, there's so many different things that you have to pass, and you have to have a license for. A DJ, we don't have to have that. So
No, and that's the thing, is that you have to understand your business. That's why I said talk to a professional.
Yes.
One of the things, like Sean brought up a good thing, is that paying yourself rent for your business, yeah, that is income. That's taxable income and your personal income. So that's another thing you have to look at. Is it feasible? And that's why you want to talk to a
Your
professional who
accountant.
does taxes
Well,
and
that's
see is it feasible for you. Because again, on paper, it sounds great. Hey, I could rent myself this office. I can charge myself $800, $1,000, whatever a month. And hey, on paper, that sounds really cool. But in reality, well, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, like I said, my buddy did talk to his accountant, and his accountant advised him to build an office in his house, because the rent just got astronomical. Now, like I said, a few of my buddies, they're contractors. And I'm more than one. I have more than 10 friends that are contractors. And here in, just say, the Wyoming Valley, contractors, their wages for the year, their take-home wages, $3,000, maybe 5,000. They'll hit. I'm like, what? You're driving around in a brand new van. Yeah, paid cash for it. I'm like, yeah, but how do you justify that? How do you?
That's between him and his accountant and the IRS. And again, if people are they could do whatever they want to do, but eventually you could be found and you could pay a lot of money. You see it all the time. Celebrities haven't paid taxes in a long time, and all of a sudden they get caught. And Wesley Snipes, he got himself in a lot of trouble for back taxes.
God, yeah.
And other people have done the same thing. And sometimes it's because they got screwed over by a manager, yes. But other times it's because the fact that, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go do that. You have to surround yourself with people who are going to look out for your best interests. And you have to understand that I need to do the right thing, because I don't want to put myself into a trick bag that I'm going to regret later on down the road. I don't want to put myself in a headache that, the whatever agency it is, they're going to come after me, be it state or federal, county, city, whatever.
Yeah, you don't mess around with the IRS.
Yeah, well, not only that, again, states like Illinois has income tax, so the state of Illinois. If certain cities like New York City and I don't know if New York County,
I'm not touching that.
Well, I'm just saying, if they have a
up.
tax, if they have a tax, you have to deal with them too. So you have to talk to a tax professional for stuff. This is just some basic stuff so you kind of get an idea. So when you talk to them, you have some footing and you can ask intelligent questions, and that way they can better suit what the needs for you. Yes. There's no 100% you need to do this or do that with taxes, because every situation is different. And I would definitely recommend, just like legal stuff, always talk to a professional who does it every day. Because what I'm giving, again, I'm not a professional accountant. I'm just telling you some of the things that I do to try and protect myself and I always try to do the right thing and try to make sure, is it correct? And am I following the law? Because again, I do not want to get myself in any kind of trouble whatsoever. And the people who do taxes are the people who you want to talk to and say, hey, can I do this? Can I not do this? And if you haven't talked to a tax professional or know someone's a tax professional, it's not a bad thing. Paid a few bucks, sit down and talk to someone.
I'll give you a prime example. A good friend of mine, he owned his own business, but everything was put into his mother-in-law, father-in-law, mother's, and father's name. So
and he never owned a business then.
No, but wait,
no, he never owned a business. He had everything in someone else's name. He never owned a business.
Wait, buddy, you're jumping ahead of me. Let me explain myself. I didn't jump ahead of you. He was advised by his accountant because he had 2 children. This made it easier on him. Now, wait, let Buddy talk for 40 minutes. I'm only talking for 5. All right, I'll shut up. I'm going. Peace.
No, God, I thought you want your story time. So I was just giving you your time.
Head it up. Bye.
Again, he had it in his family's name. He didn't have a business. And again, if his accountant told him to do that for whatever reasons, again, every situation is different. I don't know the whole situation. And, Mike's coming third party. I can only tell you that, again, if he, they have it in his name, then he doesn't have a business. Because if you don't have something in your name, how is it yours?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about, who's legally liable for the business.
So you had talked about something earlier, because I didn't know I can write my insurance off on my taxes. So
again, this is
my DJ insurance.
Yep, this is something that is professional services. So that right there is something, again, you talk to your tax professional and say, I pay for my insurance. This is how much I pay per year for my insurance, and should go with professional services. Just like your auto insurance, if you're using a vehicle for the business, you need to talk to your insurance company. Now, here's a question for you: Does your insurance company know that you're using your vehicle for business?
Put it like this: I didn't directly tell them, but they know that I have a business, that I use the same car. Because I tried to go, I have nationwide. So I tried, when I first tried to get legitimate DJ insurance, because I thought if you got the home insurance and all that, that would cover the equipment. But they was like, that's a totally different entity. And so I was telling them, you know, my story. So indirectly through conversation, they know that I use that vehicle to travel from place to place.
You need to tell them. They need to know that you are using a vehicle. The other part also is that on your insurance, you have inland marine on your insurance, correct?
That I don't know.
Talk to your insurance agent for your business insurance, because you're transporting equipment that falls underneath inland marine.
Mm-hmm.
Because your auto insurance will not cover your business equipment. So if you're driving down the street and someone bumps into you and destroys your vehicle and destroys the gear inside, the insurance will cover the vehicle, won't cover the gear. Just like if you have stuff in your garage and your garage has something and it has a fire or whatever, your equipment may not be covered by your homeowner's insurance. Now, it does vary a little bit state by state, but generally, again, you want to talk to both your insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance, usually it's one and the same, and then talk to your business insurance agent and make sure that when you're transporting, whose insurance covers what.
Yeah,
because
that one I did. I did do that one. I may not kept great records as far as travel, because my thing is I just use all the gigs that's listed in my honey book. You know, the mileage from my house to the gig and back, just add all that up. But as far as that is concerned, because Nationwide said they don't cover all that, and they gave me some other people to call. But then I also did some research and found, I forget the name of the insurance. It's not the one that you can pay today and get it for the weekend. It's the one that actually is 12 months that they cover a certain amount of your equipment. So basically, I just had to write down how much my equipment is worth, and then they give me X, amount to pay for that year according to how much my equipment be worth.
Here's the thing. We talked about this before about insurance real quickly. Is it for direct replacement price, or is it for perceived value?
It's direct placement price. Because if you take it, so for example, if you get insurance for $100,000, then you just send them the bill of how much it's going to cost for wherever you want, and they sent that out. But the thing is, they only allow you a certain amount of what do you call that? When you turn in inquiries, they only allow you to ask for that amount so many times within a certain time frame, 5 or maybe 10 years. So they always ask, have you put in a claim? They only allow you so many claims.
Yes, it limits you. You may have $100,000 for your total coverage or $1 million, but it limits you usually in a calendar time of so many claims, and you don't want any claims. That's the last thing you want to do is have a claim. But these are the things that when you're talking to your insurance company, these are things you need to verify, because if something happens and your insurance company does not cover you for that, you're left holding the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing you don't want. You don't want that, because that gives you exposure. That's money out of your pocket. And it's one of the things that it's a different insurance. Your cool things that my parents have insurance on all their vehicles, and me and my parents are all set. No, business insurance covers your gear. Your gear is not covered by homeowners insurance because it's business equipment. It's not covered by car insurance because again, it's business equipment. You talk if your parents talk to the insurance company and you have a business, you're getting paid for doing your job. You should have your own separate business insurance. It's not me who makes the rules up. It's God forbid something happens, and it's not me who, is telling you. It's one of the things. Something happens, you want to be prepared. You want to be covered because the last thing you want is someone suing you personally for damages, and it could be whatever. And you got to hire a lawyer and go through the headaches and everything like that. That's why having insurance. I've heard before from my insurance agent, no one ever complained about having too much insurance. They always complain when there's gaps in the insurance. And that's the thing you want to do is make sure that you have yourself covered because you assume that you have this covered or that covered, but in reality, it may not be covered. And that's why you want to verify what is covered on the insurance and what can you do with your insurance, because if something should happen, whose fault, who covers it, and then the insurance company point their fingers at each other and go, no, that person's going to cover it, that person's going to cover it, or the insurance company says, yeah, no, we don't cover that, you're out money then. So that's one of the things you want to kind of get in there and say, what do I need to do, how do I do it, what do I do for this and that, because again, it's money, but it's money to protect you. It protects your business, it protects you from, again, the exposure, that liability.
Yeah, I know you had mentioned something earlier about LLC and all
Limited
that.
liability corporation.
Right.
S-Corp.
So what about trademarks? Like, for example, I know I trademarked my name, my DJ name, and my company name because it was one of those things when I looked it up, I saw that no one else had that name. So I trademarked it, at least I trademarked it for the Ohio region. So no one else can do business under that entity. So how is it important?
A trademark is totally different. Trademark, you're just basically protecting intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trademarking your logo, you're trademarking your name, you're trademarking, that entity. That is not a corporation. That's not an S corporation. You as a personal individual can trademark something, just like you can get a copyright. You can go to the patent office and get a patent. You can go invent tomorrow a new kind of speakers. And by the way, you still got story time with Mike on the screen.
Oh yeah.
You can go and trademark anything. You can patent stuff. You can invent stuff in your garage and build a new mic stand, or a new speaker, a new whatever. And that right there, you can go in and trademark and copyright that and get a patent on it and so forth, so on. You don't need to be incorporated for that. A corporation is going to determine a couple of things. It limits the liability that you're exposed to for lawsuits and so forth, and financial. The other thing also it limits is it changes what you can do. It limits what you are allowed to do, and then it expands what you can do. And what I mean by that, it limits you what you can do as an individual, because you're no longer an individual, you're a corporation, and then it expands. Like if you're a LLC or an S-Corp, you can actually get credit in the company's name. You can get a D&B number, a Dun and Bradstreet number, which is basically like a social security number for business. And then you can go ahead and apply for credit and start building credit under that D&B number. And just like when you were 18, you got your first credit card, it's the same thing. You got to build your credit up. It's not all of a sudden, hey, tomorrow I'm DJ whatever, and I just got a LLC and I got a D&B number. I'm going to go buy a brand new Mercedes sports car. Well, that would be financially not feasible and wise, but the other part, everyone's going to say, yeah, no. It's just you have to build up and walk. It's like anything else you have to see. When you go into an S corp or LLC, there's also a lot of legal requirements too. Like here in Illinois, you have to get a yearly meeting with everyone who is on a board. If you're an S corp, if you're an LLC, you still have to have minutes of a board meeting. So you have to have the owners. So whoever is the owners, if you are the owner and your wife's owner, you both have to sit there. You hire a lawyer, they come in, they do the minutes, and you have to file with the Secretary of State's office and you have to pay a fee. If you're an S corp, then you have a stenographer come in. You have everyone who's involved in the business. They had to again do minutes, where the business at, kind of like think of a state of the union for your business, where you have been, where you're at, where you're projected to go, all the information, what has come up, and it's a very boring meeting because it's all about crunching numbers and crunching information, saying this is what we've done, this is how we've done this, how we improve this, and every corporation does this. When you go to the bigger corporations, they actually have their own lawyers on staff, and when they have the board meetings, that's what they have. Then you're looking at when you go to an S corp and a C corp, your taxes change because then you're going into quarterly taxes. So every quarter you're paying into your taxes an estimated amount of taxes. So it's stuff like that. You have to talk to your accountant because that's going to affect a lot too. So there's things that you have to step into when you start getting into a corporation. You got to look at, is it feasible? Do you want to do that? It limits your liability, yes. It limits your exposure, yes. But then it gives you much more things to do because now you got to have a lawyer come in once a year. You got to have a meeting. You got to, you got to do this, you got to do that. You had to pay taxes a different way because you go from an individual sole proprietor into a LLC or S corp. But it's trademarks are federal. Trademarks are not county, state, or city. That's federal.
So basically, if you're just a regular full-time DJ, that's just doing a typical event or wedding. So is it necessary to get LLC, or should you get one if you're doing super high level where you're doing a bunch of trusting and all the extra stuff moving like a business?
Now that's insurance, which is one thing.
Oh, okay.
Because it doesn't matter if you're an individual sole proprietor or a corporation. Trusting stuff, it's all your insurance, what your insurance company looks for exposure, and then the requirements for that versus how much exposure you have legally for yourself. And that's what it means by exposure, is how much can you be held liable if someone sued your business. So grandma walks in and she gets blinded by a light. She can't see. Now she has vision problems. She goes and sues you. That's your exposure. Your insurance company should, again, this is why you talk to your insurance agent, make sure stuff like that's covered. Your insurance company should have a lawyer, stuff like that. But she can sue you above your insurance level and sue you personally. Versus if you have a corporation, she sues the company, it limits your exposure to that. Can you still be held legally liable? Yes, but you have more layers there. And again, this is when you get into a lawyer, and a lawyer will tell you the ins and outs. And that's the legal side. There's lawyers are like doctors. There's different professions of that. And you need to talk to a business lawyer who can tell you what's the best way. Now, if you're looking at it as a business and you go, hey, am I just, doing bars and doing small things? Do you need to incorporate? That's up to you. That's really up to you. Do you want to deal with that? Are you bringing enough money in to justify the cost, or is being a sole proprietor, more than enough to cover what you need? And that's the thing, you have to decide what you want to do. I always would recommend, if you want to talk to a business lawyer, someone who incorporates businesses, and that varies from state to state. Some states are much easier to deal with than other states. Some states are very, very basic. It takes 5 minutes worth of paperwork. And a lawyer just basically says, okay, fine, great. Now you're incorporated. And then, they may have different requirements, but it all boils down to what state you're incorporating into. Like some people incorporate in Nevada or they incorporate into other states that they're not residents of, but they get there's legal ways of doing that. I think they get a PO box in that state or whatever, and they can have a office there and say, hey, I'm incorporated in this state. There's a bunch of things people jump through hoops. That again, that's something I would definitely say if you're thinking of incorporating, talk to a lawyer who specializes in that. Just like talking to an insurance agent. A regular insurance agent is different from insurance for DJs because insurance for DJs is a specialty. It's just like you wouldn't, you don't talk to your insurance agent about car insurance and then you talk about medical insurance. They may understand it, but do they fully understand it? And again, they do have special insurance agents out there that do business insurance, and those insurance companies that cover your business, they understand the area and the exposure they have and liability. And the other part also is that the underwriters also understand what you're doing, and they may have requirements for you. They may come to you and say, hey, you have to do this and this and this when you do a gig.
All right, let me get to the chat. So I've been ignoring them. Oh yeah, speaking about DJ Troll, every time he speaks, this is what comes to my mind. He's gonna come and get him with these hands. And I see Chinchillin had just joined.
Yep, he's here.
Let me see who else. I saw Sean, DJ Biz School's in the house.
Yep.
Cool thing, of
Cool
course.
here.
Oh yeah, Dino Blend is here.
Yep, Kurt's here.
And
like I said before, there's a lot of stuff there. That's why I always say, talk to the people who are specialized in the area. If they have much more experience than I do. I'm just giving you basics and stuff I've run into, and I rely a lot on talking to those professionals because their job is the area. Just like we want people to come talk to us about event sound and music and lighting. Not going to grab their phone and use a Spotify playlist and a Bluetooth speaker. It's a whole different experience. Yeah, you could do it for a backyard party and have enough information to be dangerous, but can you do pull off a full event? No, you want someone who's a professional who does it. And that's why, talking to someone who is an insurance agent in that realm or a lawyer is very important. And again, someone who does business insurance, and you can talk to them and say, hey, I have a DJ business. This is what I do. And this is where I go. What do I need to know? What do I need to do? There's a bunch of questions you can ask. One of the things, this is a crazy thing I have to sign every year when I sign up, that I have no volunteers for my business. No one's a volunteer. So I can't have someone come along and go, oh, I'll volunteer my time and work for your DJ business. No, you have to be an employee. So you have to be covered, you have to technically be an employee. So it's stuff like that you, it's the funny things that you run into. And you just, every year you're like at this farm, like, do you need volunteers? Nope, hasn't changed.
mm-hmm. But there's a lot of stuff that you have to think about, and we still, I'm sure we still didn't get to all the nuts and bolts of it. It was this is just something I thought about because like with just health insurance. So it's just luckily, the one thing I can say about the school system, they did have a great health benefits, and as long as you're working with them. But as soon as I retired, my benefits went up a little bit. and mine is still decent. But the thing is now, in order to put my family on there, now that costs an arm and a leg. And so that made me think about just little stuff that I didn't really think about, like going getting medicine or going to the dentist or just a doctor's visit. It got me to thinking about what about all those people that are working for themselves, that's not working for a company or anything. What kind of insurance, how they making out, or are they just not going to the hospital?
It varies. Some people okay, so like for me, I'm lucky Tracy has a regular full-time job, so I'm cover her insurance as her spouse. So my dental medical insurance is through her employer, regular employer. But can you do it on your own? Yes, you can. It's going to be very expensive. You can also go into, depending on the states, a lot of states have pools and stuff like that you can go into and get insurance. And it's a hard thing because medical insurance is not cheap. Doesn't matter if you go through you've got an employer or whatever. It's a hard area. And that's a personal thing. You have to decide what is better to do, go with or without. And going without medical insurance, and God forbid something happens, that could be, financially ruin someone.
Mm-hmm. And there's one more thing before we head on out. I did want to, there's something that we don't really think about as DJs, because you just think, because I know for me, when I made that decision to retire, at the time, I was starting to get a lot, being consistent with gigs. But then there's always the time of year where gigs slow down, or sometimes people don't have any gigs at all. So it's like one of those things where when you having another job, you still have that to fall off on. But with me retiring, it's like the reality of not having that steady 2 weeks income kind of like hit. So like, what are some of the things that DJs can do going into full time that can also bring in passive income? Because we already talked about doing voiceovers, we already talked about doing photo booths, like doing the add-ons, and then Kevin does karaoke.
One of the things you can look at is you should be nest egging money away. Now Tracy does this automatically. We take money and set money aside for those months when we don't have a bunch of stuff coming in, January, February, March here. And the gigs we're doing this month and next month, all that goes into that kitty to pay our normal bills. And then we have to budget for wedding shows. What are wedding shows costing? So wedding show is $600, a wedding show $500, a wedding show $100, a wedding show $1,000. So I right now and have been gathering information on wedding shows for the past couple months and saying, okay, fine, great. What wedding shows do I want to do? What wedding shows have we done? And if I want to do these wedding shows, how much is it? Is it the same as last year? Is it more? Is it less? And what did we get out of it? Is it return on investment? If the show is $600, I got one gig out of it. Is it worth doing it again? Or did I get 4 gigs out of this wedding show and it was $1,000? So that's the thing you got to look at. There's no guarantee, because you can do a wedding show one year and get a bunch of people and do a wedding show another year and get nothing. So there's no guarantee, but it kind of gives you an idea that, okay, this should, and again, keyword there, should do okay and do well. It's like anything else. It's kind of like playing the lottery, There's you put the numbers down and see what happens. But you should be, again, keyword there, should be, make enough money on gigs that you could put some money onto the side, and that you could pay your business's bills and you can sustain yourself for that time. And you don't have to worry about, oh man, I have no gigs at this time. How do I pay for insurance? How do I pay for this? How do I pay for that? I have these credit cards with Sweetwater or with whoever. How do I pay for, my music pools? How do I pay for this? So those are the things you have to look at. Where do you put the money at for that? And how do you hold money into that? And you can't just say, oh, well, I'll cross that bridge when the time comes. Well, that comes very quickly. If you don't have money coming in, do you turn it off? Do you go without? Well, that could be a bunch of problems for you because it could cost you more money to start back up, especially like insurance. Insurance generally usually is 1 year paid for business insurance. Sometimes you could pay it monthly, but usually it's you 1 year up front and you spend that, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, whatever your insurance is for the full year to cover everything. The your pools usually are a monthly draw. Every month it automatically deducts whatever the pool charge is. For me, promo only it's $100. So that's $100 just for promo only. And then, extended mix is another $65. Okay, $165 just for music. And that's why I said knowing your expenses helps you prepare for those times you're off. Remember I said in the beginning, having a separate account, having everything separate so you know exactly where your baseline's at, that helps you when you go into that time when there's no income coming in. I know my cost every month is $2,000. I need to make $24,000 over a year and then put money on the side to cover my expenses every single month. I'm just throwing those numbers out there. So I know exactly, okay, $2,000 is going to cover my basic bills. It's going to cover my insurance. It's going to cover my, operating expenses. $2,000, internet, phone, whatever I'm paying for out of the business, is that money right there. If you don't know that, you can't prepare for the downtime. If you don't know that, you can't prepare for the what ifs. If you don't know what you're paying per month, then again, like before, do you really own a business? This all goes back to, do you have a business or are you an employee? Do you own a business or are you a charity? Those are the things you have to look at and say, okay, this money coming in, it's, it's good, but is it good enough to cover your bills? Is it good enough to cover your expenses? Is it good enough to cover what you're doing? And is there money left over to pay you? Because that's another thing you got to look at. You're now an employee, even though you owned a business, you're an employee. And when you be able to that, if you want to pay yourself a salary, if you want to pay yourself a wage, you need to build that into the profit of the business and make sure there's money coming in. Plus, you got to look at it, down the road, replacement of equipment. How do I replace equipment? When do I take the money I need to replace for that? How do I do that? Again, that's all goes back to budgeting. And if you're not budgeting, you're not knowing what's in and out. That's how you run into financial problems. And that's how people are like, oh yeah, it's $300 for this gig. Oh, it's beer money. But I'm sure that gig is costing more than the $300 they're making.
Yeah, it was something else I was going to ask too, because Mike was saying something about profit and losses. Because I have heard people on YouTube where they get into people that look like they have money, but they claim that they're broke, and they justify it by saying, yes, they bring in X number of dollars, but they don't try to show that they make a big, huge profit. They try to show where there's like losses, try to balance it out. So therefore, they can play somehow with the numbers, with the taxes.
Again, that's something you want to talk to your accounting professional, because you can put yourself in a trick bag very quickly with that. Yes, you're going to have costs, you're going to have expenses. And that's why having it and knowing what it is and showing those expenses helps to limit how much tax money you have to pay at the end of the year. If you are going to pay tax money, the more you have for bills, the less money you have to pay, yes, because you have less profit you made, but you have to pay taxes on that profit. And if I remember correctly off the top of my head, it's 8 years. You can only show a loss for 2 of the 8 years. If you continually show a loss, that's when the IRS says, okay, you're not a business, you're a hobby. and your tax thing goes totally different. You can't claim as much, you can't do as much, you're not a business. And that's the thing, you have to look at what that is for you. You want to make sure that when you're doing stuff, especially with taxes, you're not like playing with the numbers that are going to affect you. That's why I said talk to a professional.
Yeah.
People can tell you a lot of things, and it all varies from state to state, person to person, and how they have everything set up. Yeah, some rich person who's a multimillionaire says, "Oh, I'm actually, I only pay a few dollars in taxes." There's a lot of things with shelters and how to put money in places and how to do that. It's kind of a game for them. How they afford all this stuff, how they afford to manage this stuff, and in reality, they don't have that much income. But there's difference between worth and income. You could be worth $1 billion if you liquidated everything at once. Do you have $1 billion in your bank account?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at someone, person's a billionaire, this person's worth, Elon Musk is worth, $300 million or $300 billion, $300 trillion, whatever it is. That's if he liquidated everything. Now, the minute he starts liquidating stuff, those values actually go down because why is he liquidating this? Oh my God, he's selling everything he has. There's something wrong. And that value goes down very quickly. Plus, there's laws they have to follow. They have to follow procedures. There's a bunch of hoops they have to jump through. It's a lot of legal stuff they have to follow. So again, someone you see on Forbes, so and so is worth X amount of money, or this celebrity is worth this much money. That's everything they own. If it was liquidated today, does that mean they actually have that money in their checking account? No, they could have $100,000 in their checking account. That's what they live on. They own all this stuff? Sure. Are they making money off of things? Sure. But are they, do they have that money in their pockets? No. They could buy a bunch of sports cars. Like, Jay Leno has a garage full of sports cars and exotic vehicles. Jay Leno's worth tons of money. But if that garage caught on fire, his net value would go down because he lost a bunch of valuable vehicles. So it's like anything else. What are you valued at? You have your value, and you have your income. And there's a huge difference between the two. And again, this is why I said you need to talk to insurance professionals, talk to a lawyer, and talk to a professional accountant, because you don't want to put yourself in that trick bag. Oh, well, I heard that so-and-so said I can do this with my payments, and I can do that. They're not going to care. They're going to be like, well, just because someone told you to do something doesn't mean it's right. And that's the thing. We're not giving legal advice here. Mm-hmm. We're not giving you financial advice. We're giving you ideas to talk to professionals. And we highly recommend talking to the right people. These are stuff I've run into and I've seen, and stuff I was prepared for. So I was more prepared going into the business than a lot of people were, because of working for corporations and having that background and understanding the financial responsibility of things and understanding the fiscal responsibility of running a business. And you can't just say, oh, well, I'll do whatever. No, that's, again, how you make mistakes and how you get yourself in trouble.
Because this text season is going to be interesting, because I don't have that umbrella of the my school job. So this will be the first time I'm going to file, as a retiree, and then basically on the income of the DJing. So that's why I'm kind of like wondering, now how would a write-off be and all that affect me? Because I made a lot of money teaching, so therefore I could write a bunch of stuff off. And like you said, it didn't really show that it was a loss because of the way it was written up. But now it'd be different. So it'll be interesting to see how that all works out.
I definitely would say make sure you work with your accountant, go through everything. You can go to irs.gov. It will tell you all the categories for everything to separate. So it will tell you what everything you can categorize, and you want to look up. And again, the key thing there is sole proprietor, because that's what you are, a sole proprietor for your business, and that's how you want to do your taxes. You use your social security number as your number, and you're a sole proprietor. And again, this is something you talk to your tax professional. If you don't know it, that's fine. You should have been doing it for a while. This is something you should have been doing. If you have not, again, this is something that you need to start doing and correcting, because the less exposure you have to things, the less problems you have. The more exposure to things, something goes awry, it goes awry pretty bad. So protect yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yep. And that's what I learned this past year too, because I had a lot of stuff saved in my savings, but then once I hit that retirement and that the monthly income shifted, what looked like a lot at the time, that went quick. But I'm glad I stayed diligent, and then because there was a few times I thought I might have to go and eat humble pie and do a 9 to 5 again, but everything kicked in, so it's picking up. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right, and everything keeps growing.
It takes time, and I can tell you again, the first couple years leaving, again, a corporate job, it's hard, difficult, because you're used to a certain level of income. You need to build your income up by business. Now, you worked in a government agency, so you're a little more shielded than someone who worked like myself in the private industry. You can get terminated anytime. An employer tomorrow can say, okay, we're doing a RIF, reduce in force, and we're going to lay off 10% of our employees, 20%, 30%, for whatever reason it is. You could be part of that RIF. Or a company could buy another company and could say, yeah, we don't need your services anymore after this date. Bye. And what do you do? Okay, they may have, a few weeks of severance or something. That's something they give you. But there's certain things they have to follow by law. But you can also have, a new boss that doesn't like you, that starts writing you up, because you're not following exactly the letter or the procedure of the company. You know what? And they follow policy. Okay, you get unemployment for a while. Great. You still have to then decide what you want to do. Do you want to work for someone else, as far as, working for a company, or do you want to, grow your business? And the thing is that when people say, I work for myself, you don't work for yourself. You work for the customer. The customer is your new boss. Your boss just changed from someone above you, being a supervisor, manager, whatever, district manager, area manager, whatever their title is, vice president, even the CEO of a company, their bosses are the shareholders. So there's just different bosses, just different places. So when I hear people, why I work for myself, you are self-employed because you are the owner of the business, but your customer is the boss. Your customer is the ultimate one that pays your check. The customer is the one who is going to give you your pay. It's going to say, hey, this person did the right thing, or this person was not great. And that's the thing, is that you have to look at how to prepare yourself for that, and how to build your business up, and how to grow it. Because again, if you're not growing your business is not growing, you're stagnant for too long, do you have a business? If your business is growing and you're keeping up with things and you're able to expand, you should be at a point that after a few years, you can then replace your normal income with your business income. And that's with any business. Doesn't matter if you own a laundromat, a car wash, whatever it is that you go into business. In this case, DJing, you should be growing your business and having enough business. And growing your business is one of the hardest things, because it's hard work all the time. And you should be looking at ways to do that, and advertising, going through things, being active in like social media and stuff. All that stuff helps out.
Yeah, I believe it, because I've been doing sleepless nights all week, because I had talked to the guy. I told you I talked to the guy from Wedding Wire, So we're going to try to get him on the show. He said he'll do the show. It's just a matter of us getting the time that he can meet. So we'll have him on the show next month. Tom, the representative from Wedding Wire, and he gave me some pointers to help me update my storefront on Wedding Wire, and then he looked at my website and gave me some pointers. So I've really been putting in time rebuilding my website and all that. So I'm gonna let you see it when we get off the stream.
And you know, the one thing is that Shane, I'm sorry, Sean. I have a friend named Shane. He does. He understands websites too because he helped me with my website when I did my website. Shane taught me, as well as Sean knows, SEO is important, and that's going to draw a big amount of people to your website. And the Knot and Wedding Wire are ways to get SEO, to get that support, and following certain protocols. And things change, so keeping up on that, updating things, asking people for help. If you got to pay for someone, and you know, if I got to go to Sean and go, hey Sean, can you do this for my website? Can you go through things? Oh yeah, I could do it. It's going to cost you, $300. It's worth it. If I don't know how to do it, if I can't figure out how to do it, all right, I'm going to go to someone who knows how to do it and take care of it. And that's the thing that, again, as a business owner, you have to say, what is the best way? Why reinvent the wheel? Sometimes it's better off just, all right, hey, you know what? I want to do this. I want this. I need to pay for it. Here you go.
Yeah, I want to try to do as much as I can because I don't want to spend. I wouldn't mind spending the money if someone would show me how to do it because I can do it. It's just a matter you just show me how to do it. But I don't want to, because there's some companies, I don't want to spend an arm and a leg each month. And it seems like you're doing what I could have done. That's money I could have saved. Especially now, I'm not like, it's slowing down for me. So I have the time now to really put into updating this, updating that. So if I can find someone who can just show me how to do it, I can go ahead and do it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching the business school videos and try to get my stuff together.
And
so,
Sean needs to come out with some more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, because I'm trying to budget my money so I can get that beta booth, because that's something that I'm going to really get. So hopefully by this time next year I have it. It might be sooner, but it's one of those things where I got to watch what I bring into the house, because then I get to, we need to do this. We need to do that. How come you didn't go do this? And so I have that. That's the issues you have to deal with when you're married.
Here's the thing. As a business owner, reinvesting your business is one of the best things you do to help grow your business. This is taking funds, reinvesting into your business, which you should be doing to make your business grow. And this is one of the things that when I say help your business grow, help your business get more, things like that is one of the things you look at, how to get additional revenue. Like in the voiceover and stuff like that, what Kevin is doing, putting up a little, area to do that stuff. All that right there, an investment, it's going to help him get money back in. Photo booth's going to help him get money back in. Doing things like that, it's going to help him get money back in.
Oops. 'Cause I'm trying to type down notes. But so before I forget, let's go back and try to recap everything we talked about. You said one good point. You said words talk, numbers scream. And so you said, are you a business or a hobby? So if you're a business, you want to price yourself and know your worth to make sure that you're going green more than you're going deep red and losing money. Make sure to set up a separate business account, which I definitely need to do. And then also you have said, make sure you keep detailed records, like from your receipts and your mileage. And then you said document. And then most important, make sure to talk to the right people. That could be lawyers, your accountants. Also, you can visit irs.gov. And if you're a was it proprietor? Is that,
Well, it's a self-proprietor.
yeah. And then in order to make money, you got to invest.
Yep. And then Valuetainment is the one who coined that phrase. So you got to give them credit for that. For, again, I've heard it from them, and then they talk about stuff on their podcast, business stuff. They talk all a bunch of different stuff. It's interesting a lot of times. But Valuetainment, that's one of the things they talk about is, words talk, numbers scream. And that's a huge key thing there for business. And the guy who runs it, who runs that whole entire thing, he's an insurance guy down in Florida. So it's one of the things that very interesting podcast. And, again, he has a lot of interesting topics. And a lot of times, again, you listen to that and you listen to some of the things they say, and it's true. It's very true. If you're a business person, you look at, the words, you read what's going on, but your numbers, if your numbers are in the red, they're screaming to you that you're doing something wrong. If they're in the black, they're screaming to you you're doing something right. If they're even, then there's something going on that needs to be fixed. And where the outlier at, that's where you find very quickly.
So the black is what?
Black is good.
Okay.
You're in the black, you're good. You're in the red, you're negative.
Okay.
Black is positive, red is negative.
Oh, so it's
So if
black
you're-
and red, not green and red.
Black and red.
Okay.
That's why Black Friday.
Mhm.
Black Friday starts in retail, and that is basically hopefully the start. By then, it's profitable for retailers to make that money, because Christmas, fourth quarter, that goes into high gear, and hopefully you're making money in fourth quarter. Some businesses throughout the year, they're running into red till they hit Black Friday, and that's where they make their money for the year.
Okay.
That's where the term Black Friday comes from, because you're in the black, which is a business term that means you're in profit.
Okay. And then I see Adrian E is in the building. It's been a while since he's been on our show.
Yeah. He's been hiding.
All right, so let's take us. Yeah, we're nearing our 2-hour mark. All right, again for our shout outs, I'd like to thank Buddy for coming on the show and dropping some knowledge on us. And he'll be here because I didn't get a chance to do it last week. He'll be here next week. We're going to talk about bridal shows. And we're going to see if we can get Kevin on the show too, because Kevin does a lot of bridal shows here in Ohio. Because I didn't know, talking to him, I didn't know there was a difference between bridal shows. I thought they all were the same. It's almost like multi-ops. There's different kinds of multi-ops that we operate. And I found it interesting. And I want to make sure when I start doing the bridal shows, I pick the right one. Because I don't want to invest a lot of money and I don't see a return or go and have a bad experience. And I just want to make sure I go in and at least do it right. So
ROI is very important, because you're going to spend money for advertisement. What do you see coming back? And that's why ROI. Remember I said before, you start your bases, you invest back in the business, and that ROI is always return on investment. How much you spend on something, how much money you can get out of it. I spent $2,000 for a beta booth. Okay, well, how much money we can get out of that? If I can get the $2,000 back, how long will it take for me to get that money back? Will I get back in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What am I looking at? And those are the things you got to look at. I do this wedding show for $500 or $1,000 or $200, whatever it is. How long before will I make the money back for this wedding show?
Yep. But if you follow Sean's formula that he laid out to us, if you charge at least $400 after you get your beta booth and buy your backgrounds and then the software, $400, within 7 gigs, you should be able to get that back. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's DJ gigs, because you can outsource your photo booth and just do photo booths and get your money back quick. Yeah, I keep saying that. I guess I'll do that after I get finished with my website. Break it down and make that a separate YouTube video, because he nailed it out. He gave a lot of good points that I probably need to make it a short video so therefore you can get right to it as opposed to trying to dig through 2 hours of stuff to get to it.
Highlight reel.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you haven't joined our Cue It Up DJ Podcast Facebook group page. There's the URL, or you can just type Cue It Up in the browser, and you can join our private group or public group. You can also join us on our socials. You have DJ Mikie Mike on Twitter at DJ Mikie Mike, and Facebook at DJ Mikie Mike, and then on Instagram at DJ Mikie Mike 45. And then you can follow me at HITMAN DDub on all my socials. And then we have the DJ Collective Network, where it's one culture and many voices. And the views and opinions expressed during the DJ Collective Network primetime shows are those of the individual host and guests of that show. They do not necessarily reflect the views or official stance of the different shows of the DJ Collective Network as a whole, its affiliates, or production partners. Viewer and listeners' discretion advised. And I would like to welcome you to our primetime DJ lineup, a weekly schedule of live stream shows built for DJs by DJs. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, you got the knowledge, the stories, and inspirations to help you level up. On Mondays at 9 o'clock on YouTube, for every DJ chasing dreams, no matter the odds, it's your time to spend with DJ Cool Thing. Then on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, join Buddy and his weekly guest panel of DJs for unfiltered conversations that matter. It's the DJ Roundtable with Buddy from TBM Productions. And if you missed the live broadcast, you can see the rebroadcast on his YouTube channel at TBM Productions DJ1 at 1 o'clock every Monday. And then on Wednesdays, it's the DJ Biz School with DJ Night Owl, Sean. And when he's not doing the DJ Biz or DJing, he has a photo booth that he's selling. So if you're looking to add some serious wow factor to your events, check out the beta booth from Photo Booth Direct Club. It's got upgraded lighting and wiring, a mirrored faceplate that guests love, and it even comes in a rolling luggage style case. So setup is a breeze. The best part, with our code CUEITUP, you save $350. That means you get it for just $1,645. Head to the photoboothdirectclub.com and grab yours now. And I know he put something up on your show Tuesday where he's having a Black Friday sale. And I think it's $500 off if you buy the beta booth, the scrim, and it was a table for props, a props table. And you'll get
It's a whole entire package.
Yep. You get $500 off.
Put the code in there. Put the code in there for Dwayne's show, and then you will get a special promotion. You ask Sean, send him a message, say, hey, what do I need to do for it? I have a code for Cue It Up. Put that code in there, and then he will hook you up with the deal, and you'll get a heck of a savings.
Oh, so you get 2 deals on Black Friday?
You get a Black Friday deal on top of your discount.
Whoa.
So you get 2 deals.
It makes me think whether I want to.
So you spend a little bit more money, but the thing is that in reality, you save a lot of money because the fact that you're getting a lot for it. You get a big bang for your buck.
Yep. Just made me think of this guy.
Not being boxed in, thinking outside the box.
Got me thinking of how I'm going to get a beta booth. All right. And then again, next week, we'll be talking about our bridal show with Buddy and Kevin. And I think we got that. Oh, we didn't finish our And then on Thursdays, you have our show with me, the Hitman DDub, and DJ Mikie Mike. It's the Cue It Up DJ podcast, and you can catch us live every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Then also, we have our friends, DJ Pretty Boy and DJ Shay, and they have a podcast called Start to Spin that also airs live on at La Ruckus Inc. YouTube channel at 9 o'clock. Then you can see Kevin live on the KJ Chill Room karaoke chat with Matt and Eric. And they go live every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And you can join in by joining them at djntv.com/KJ Chill. And you can see the rebroadcast on the Disc Jockey News Network YouTube channel. I think that airs the following Sunday or Monday night, the rebroadcast of the live chill room. Then also we have another DJ friend at _DJ Reese _, and he has a podcast called We Create the Vibes Podcast, where he talks about DJing in the corporate world. So remember to like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. And then our fade out message is, if you don't charge enough to cover the business, you don't have a business. So as according to Buddy, you be just a hobbyist. I'm trying not to be a hobbyist anymore. So you have any final words?
Like I said before, if you're working a regular full-time job and you want to go into this, that's fine, but you have to make a decision. Do you want to be a business owner, or do you want to stay an employee? And again, if you decide, hey, I like working for my regular job, and it's to decide, it's not a problem. But again, you can't really consider yourself a business owner because you're not giving 100% to the business. And that's what there's a big difference there. And there's no wrong answer to it, but you have to decide what is best for you, what makes financial sense, and what makes it, kind of sense overall. It's a hard thing. It's a hard leap, but again, if you put enough work into it, you will get great rewards out of being a business owner. Again, in 2008, when I started doing this full time, I was scared. And it took a couple years to get stuff going. But after I started to get stuff going, I haven't looked back. And it's really, really nice because the fact that, again, I invest a lot of time in it, and it's really great. Mike jumped off earlier. Mike jumped off earlier, so he was telling a story, and he wanted to leave, so he jumped off earlier.
Yep. So with that said, we can already make our 2 weeks in a row. We're gonna make it just under 2 hours. So with that said, I'm happy that everyone was able to join us. Yep, and Little Ruckus, I had said, is definitely scary. I know for a minute I was okay, but then reality hit. Then it's like I start second guessing myself, but then at the same time, you have to have faith. If you have a vision and a focus, just know that it's going to take some hard work. Anything worth having is worth working for. So after hearing Buddy, it took him 2 years. Then I have faith that I'm going to be able to do it as well. Because it's like after, it's just like when I jumped on your show. It's like now on the show, actually talking with people that I was watching YouTube videos, and to actually hear them talk. And also when I finally met Brian S. Red and joined the chill room, I'm seeing guys that I looked up to, and then to hear their stories, of seeing that they faced the same thing that I faced, it's like, okay, there's hope. So I'm hoping that by watching our show, we're growing and learning together. It's not like we're trying to say that we know everything. It's just, I know for the show, for me, I'm just trying to share my experience going from bedroom DJ to a part-time DJ to a hopefully a successful DJ. And I just want to document my journey. And I will just want to invite you all on my trip as we all grow and learn. And hopefully we all can be successful and have one of those meetups just like some of the other DJs have. So we can all share our successes.
One of the things you got to look at, there's no owner's manual how to do things. And we all make mistakes. And I've said it before on my show, I'm sharing information because I don't want people to fall the same traps I ran into. And I don't have all the answers. I can tell you things I've run into, what works really great for me. And hopefully it helps out Dwayne and helps you out there as well. There's no quick, fast answers. And that's why I'm kind of vague on things, because every situation is different. And that's why I say, talk to professionals, talk to a lawyer, talk to an accountant, talk to an insurance agent, because all three of those people for your business are important. If you don't know something, that's the things you have to look at. I'm lucky that, again, like for Tracy, took originally accounting in college, so I have that area covered. I have an insurance agent. I talk to her quite a bit. I'm not incorporated, so I'm not worried about that. But if I decide to go into corporation, definitely there's lawyers I would talk to. So it's those hard things you have to make decisions on, and ask other people, how did you make this decision for this? Because if you turn around to another DJ and ask them, hey, how did you do this? How do you overcome that? You'd be surprised. And it's all about supporting each other. There's no right or wrong answers to things. It's just how we all travel and how we all do the journey.
Yep. So with that said, I hope you all have a great weekend. See you all next week. Make sure you check out all our shows and make sure you go out there and crush those gigs. So until next week, take care and stay blessed.
I'ma rise like the sun while the world still sleeps. Scouring the sights looking for new leads. Marathon gigs with no in between. Your worth is from a rear view they seen. They wanna party, but I'm battling fatigue, chasing passion while my mental is still out on leave. It's an everyday hustle, so respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Cue up the pressure. Pressure. Cue up the pressure. Pressure. Cue up the pressure. Dollar earned, got a story to tell. Dreams in the booth where the DJs dwell. Clubbing is a struggle like it's all I've got. Set it up, break it down, travel to the next spot. Ambitions, the engine stay sharp like a tool. Revving through my gigs, power drinks is fuel. It's an everyday hustle, we'll respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Pressure. Cue up the pressure. 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 Cue up the pressure. Pressure, pressure, cue up the pressure, the pressure. Cue up the pressure.